Well, today on Experian Business Chat, we're joined by Michael Zevallos, co-founder of Giggle Finance, a FinTech that's helping gig workers and solopreneurs get fast, transparent access to funding. Michael has over 10 years of experience in online lending and FinTech, and he's passionate about making financing simple and stress-free for independent workers. We'll be talking about how gig workers can secure the capital they need to grow and how Giggle Finance is changing the game for self-employed people. Michael, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Gary. We are excited to be here.
So what inspired you to start Giggle Finance, and how did you identify the gap in financial services for gig workers?
We saw firsthand how broken the financial system was outside of traditional W-2 personal lending and large commercial business lending. So we started the business, or let's take a step back. I started in the business in 2011, having worked up on deck. I got to witness firsthand how many of the little guys or the independent contractors, the micro small businesses, just those who didn't meet artificial minimum requirements such as having X amount of deposits a month or having X credit or, Y revenues, they were just completely shut out of the market. And time after time, I did watch independent contractors and micro small businesses get denied. And it was not just for meeting some underwriting guidelines, it was also just a matter of like, hey, it's just too risky, its cash flows are too up and down, or the smaller deals just don't generate enough profitability. Because if you think about it, there's too many hands in the cookie jar when it came to underwriting and processing this transaction. You had underwriters, you had a salesperson, you had a loan broker, you had a loan closer, all trying to interact with this deal. And in the end, it didn't make sense. But when we thought about it, we were like, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a better way. And I think the turning point was that this wasn't really a niche problem. The independent workforce became the fastest growing segment of the economy in 2020. So we were talking about tens of millions of Uber drivers and barbers and content creators, online sellers, freelancers, and the traditional credit system just completely shut this segment of the economy out of the credit markets. So we knew that we had to do something, and that's what inspired us to start Giggle in 2020.
So what about the risk, though? How do you manage that, given many people are just starting out?
So when you think about risk, traditional risk relies on, or traditional credit relies on, if you're talking about a consumer lending product, it relies on FICO and the consistency of a W-2 job, right? Lenders want to see a paycheck on the 1st and the 15th of the month and a high FICO score. If you think about risk in the context of commercial lending, a commercial lender wants to see a business that's been operating for 5+ years. They want to see a business that is generating consistent cash flow year in and year out. They have a balance sheet and a income statement that is showing some sort of profit, and no problem, we're able to offer you some financing. Fast forward to the independent workforce. As you can imagine, an Uber driver can work 10 hours this week, 20 hours the following week, 0 hours the third week. Really, it's at their leisure, or however, time they want to dedicate to this job. So again, traditional credit markets really shut this segment of the economy out of the market, of all the credit markets. So at Giggle, we decided to really flip the script upside down because, again, we believe that the traditional credit markets really look at historical output. And if you think about it, it captures your past, but it doesn't capture your present, or more importantly, your future. So a couple things that we did. So I think most importantly, via our partnership with Experian, we've been able to offer a variety of different products that really help understand who that customer is and precisely understand the risk level of the business that we are trying to underwrite. So for one, we use Experian's alternative data product. The alternative data product really goes beyond a traditional credit file. It allows us to really understand different signals that identify different patterns of behavior and risk. Speaking of behavior, Neuro ID, another incredible product from Experian, allows us to really understand the customer's interactions of how they're interacting with our application, and it really is able to detect fraud as customers, again, are behaving with our application. This in turn allows us to really approve the right customer with even greater confidence. And I would say, lastly, we do also have another incredible partnership through the Experian SMB marketplace. I think that through the SMB marketplace, we're able to connect with customers that truly care and value their credit. So Experian able to present these types of customers, and as a result, we're able to approve even more customers with even greater confidence.
So with AI reshaping work, what shifts are you seeing in the types of gig workers seeking financial support?
I think when you think about AI, most in the context of reshaping the workforce, most people often think about how AI is really changing enterprises, the bigger size businesses and whatnot. But I would argue that AI is making a phenomenal impact on independent contractors and the smaller businesses as well. We're seeing that gig workers aren't just drivers or delivery couriers anymore. We're seeing that more often than not, they can now become creators. They can become consultants. They are a little bit more tech savvy through the AI advancements. They can become, designers. And take a freelance marketer, for example. A freelance marketer back in the day could take on maybe 1, 2, or 3 clients at most. Now, through some AI tools, they can create content, they can create analytics, they can essentially manage, 5 or 6x the previous output. And we've seen a lot of solopreneurs come in, and as a solopreneur, and before you know it, they have a marketing agency with not that many people, but because of AI, they're able to keep headcount low, but still scale their business and have dozens of customers that they weren't able to previously manage before.
So how is that changing their financial needs if they're working with AI?
It's an exciting shift for Giggle, because what we're seeing historically, customers were applying, and usually it would be because it was, hey, I need money because I need to make payroll. It's some sort of emergency reason. But the shift as a result of AI, we've seen now customers come to us because they have growth needs, right? Again, let me use an example of an Uber driver who now is a limousine driver and is able to use AI tools to hire more people to grow their business, or the content creator or the logo designer who was only able to use or deploy a few logos at a time. Now they can deploy tens of logos at a time using AI tools. And as a result, their financial needs change. They need growth capital to hire people, to invest in more tools, to invest in more equipment. And I think that structural shift is very exciting for both the customers and for us at Giggle.
Fast access to capital, I mean, that really changes the trajectory for gig workers. Can you talk a little bit about some of the success stories that Giggle has with your clients?
If you think about our customer base, we fund independent contractors, we fund micro small businesses, we fund gig workers. So what we've seen today is a fundamental shift in the economy. We've seen a lot of customers now be wanting to become independent workers. We see a lot of customers wanting to really own their own business, being a solopreneur. And what we've seen is that with advancements in AI, customers can now, let's take an example of a freelance marketer or a logo designer. In the past, one could make one, two, or three logo designs a week. But now with AI technology, customers, these same logo designers can now make 5, 6, 7x the amount of logos, and as a result, their businesses are growing. They are looking to hire people. They are looking to market more on Facebook. They are looking to grow their business. And as a result, what does that mean? That means that they're looking for even more financing to help them achieve their goals. And that fundamental shift is actually very exciting for Giggle because customers go from what we've seen in the past of needing emergency funding to, hey, now I need growth capital. I need growth funding to be able to invest in my business, grow my business, hire people, and continue to expand. So that has been really exciting for Giggle.
Mm. So how can banks and fintechs collaborate to better serve the gig economy? Do you see an opportunity there for partnerships with banks?
I think there's a tremendous opportunity. I think each brings something vital to the table. Banks have the trust, the brand, and the balance sheet, right, through decades of built up branding that embody that trust. And the fintechs bring a lot of product and tech and user experience to the table. So I think if you put those strengths together, you can build a financial system that truly serves gig workers, independent contractors, and micro small businesses. So as an example, I believe that our technology can help underwrite that independent workforce in seconds using, real-time income data and AI to be able to assess that risk. But once we've identified the right customer, we could partner with a bank to be able to provide that credit at scale to be able to fund even more advances or loans or lines of credit, whatever the product type may be. So I think it's a win-win for the bank, for a fintech like Giggle, but most importantly, for the customer itself.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on long-term relationships with these gig workers? I mean, if you're there for them in the very early stages of their business, you think there's going to be loyalty there? And are you going to be looking to expand other services with them and looking for other ways that you can help them?
At Giggle, we are there essentially from day one,
Hmm.
right? If you think about our underwriting guidelines, we just simply want to see that the business has been operating for at least 3 months with 90 days of cash flow activity. Um, so we help the business really get off the ground, not day one, but day 90, basically day one, let's call it. And then um, we have seen our businesses, we have customers that have applied and been funded now over 20 times over the course of 4 years. And what we've seen is we have businesses that stay loyal here with Giggle and continue to grow. That Uber driver came in, started with us as an Uber driver with our financing. They've been able to go out and start a different business. And we've seen Uber drivers become truckers. We've seen Uber drivers open up limousine companies. We've seen them expand their business, and it's just not exclusive to Uber drivers. It's across our portfolio. But yes, we also intend to provide other products and services. We do see a potential line of credit product offering that's going to be for that larger type businesses as our businesses continue to mature. But there are other products and offerings in the marketplace that we don't offer that we can definitely partner with and continue to help and evolve the ever growing nature of our businesses, because every business's dynamics change, their needs change. So we want to be there at the forefront, helping our customers really grow and maneuver their business in such a way that's flexible for them.
That's fantastic. So did you want to comment at all on your relationship with Experian and how that's going?
Yeah, I mean, I spoke a little bit about it, but I think that Experian has been an innovator in this in this market, in this segment of the economy. Like again, we call ourselves Giggle because we were funding gig workers when we started the business. Gig workers are a segment of the economy that didn't exist 10 years ago. and they're very difficult to underwrite. And fast forward to where we are today, gig workers represent just a portion of who we underwrite, because we soon realized that gig workers are 1099 independent contractors. So we should finance all 1099 independent contractors. If you think about when we started the business in 2020, there were about 30 million independent workers. Fast forward to today, there are 70 million independent contractors. It's more than doubled per some publications and studies that are out there today. And we believe that by 2030, it's soon going to surpass the W-2 economy. And Experian has been at that forefront identifying these trends in the market. And as a result, they've been able to provide a lot of alternative data products, behavioral products, and matchmaking products through their SMB and consumer boost marketplace. So I think the innovation has led to an incredible partnership here with Giggle.
That's awesome. That's Katerina, the vice president here. She gave a joint talk with you recently, and she came up with this sentence: "Everybody's a small business." And when you think about it, it really is true. I think the great many people. I mean, even when maybe if you're in college and you want a secondary income stream, you've got an Etsy store, or you've got something out there that's generating income, or even if you're an independent driver for the ride-sharing apps. I mean, it really is becoming more common for people to have that entrepreneurial spirit. So I really see there's a tremendous opportunity for businesses like yours.
Yeah, we are super aligned. Our thesis when we started Giggle was, one, we believed they were underserved, this segment of the economy, and two, we believed it was going to grow. Now, never in our wildest dreams or imagination did we think it was going to grow to these heights this fast. When we started the business, we started it during COVID. We didn't think it was the best time to start the business. We were definitely very concerned at that time, but it ended up somewhat being a blessing. People started working from home. Everybody wanted to become a consultant. Everybody was a fractional CFO. And then before you know it, people wanted to become their own business, their own 1099, start their own consulting practice. And it just became a boom, and we were happy to start the business when we did. And through our partnership with Experian, we've been able to continue to grow.
That's great. Well, Michael, this has been great. Tell our viewers where they can find out more about what Giggle Finance has to offer.
Yeah, by all means, we're fully digital. So come to our website, www.gigglefinance.com. You'll learn a lot more about our products, who we are, our processes, our underwriting guidelines. And if you're a customer, you can apply in less than 10 minutes without any human intervention. You'll find out if from application to funding, whether you get approved and you have the funds in your bank account. So it's super simple. We're here to help, and we look forward to seeing you.
Thanks for coming on Business Chat, Michael.
Thank you, Gary.